Alright, the thing is finally asleep, meaning I can ultimately finish this post without being interrupted 4 or 5 times. If you're already confused, you probably haven't read the title, or just don't believe it. The thing is laying on the window ledge, snoring extremely loud. I doubt I have much time until the thing decides to wake from its slumber, which indicates that I must rush this. It all began when a statewide quarantine was commenced, and everyone was forced into a mandatory lockdown. Carson and I were a pair of the people who assumed the coronavirus was not a big deal and everything was going to be alright. At least that was our mindset until the quarantine began, which is when we both began actually looking into the virus, and we realized that we were both sorely mistaken. The coronavirus is indeed a big deal, and I can only urge as many of you reading this to stay safe and stay home. But you didn't click on this post to listen to a PDA, so I'll dive into our current predicament. Like I stated earlier, the incident happened when the quarantine started in late March. It was the 28th, and Carson and I were binging the infamous Mandalorian we've heard so much about on Disney+. All of a sudden, we heard the refrigerator open, and we turned our heads to find that, indeed, the refrigerator was open. Carson and I glanced at each other before he grabbed a baseball bat, me a lamp. All of our knives and cleavers were in the now-invaded kitchen. Carson snuck up next to the refrigerator. I was a few feet away, being Carson's backup. Eating and growling noises could be heard coming from inside the refrigerator. It seemed rather odd. That did not convince Carson to question his at-the-time course of action, apparent by the fact that he quickly swung the baseball bat in front of our refrigerator, intending to knock unconsciousness into the interloper. However, Carson did not hit anything at all, only the end of the bat hitting the open refrigerator door. But the strange noises coming from inside had stopped, causing Carson to cringe and start moving backwards, slowly. I followed his backwards walk to a T. "Holy shit!" Carson screamed. While I ran next to the couch, I looked back over and saw the 3 things happen simultaneously. The first thing was Carson running to my left and near the window. If he was planning on jumping out of it, I'll never know. The second thing was the refrigerator door slamming shut. The third thing was a thing. It was extremely small, only around 2 feet tall. Its skin color was black and dark purple, its torso larger than its bare legs. Its head was wide, same as the eyes and mouth. It had 2 pure black horns sticking out from the top. It also had multiple rows of sharp teeth and claws. It jumped onto the counter, slamming the refrigerator door shut. It started growling and rolling as if it were trying to intimidate us. Even if it wasn't, Carson and I were at the time. The former screamed as he ran over and tried hitting the thing with its bat. The thing roared again and jumped onto the ceiling light, completely dodging the swing. Carson unloaded too much strength into his swing as the baseball bat flew out of his hands and hit the now closed refrigerator. That's when the beast hastily jumped back down to the counter, making its noises directly at Carson now. Without his trusty bat, there really was not much he could do, other than cower in fear. Carson backed up, but accidentally tripped on his shoe, falling on top of them. He instantaneously turned over and peered up, seeing the beast glaring and growling at him. Due to the fact that Carson was on the floor, the thing must have appeared feet taller than it actually is. I, petrified out of my soul, simply stood straight, not even attempting to make any sort of movement. In my defense, I could have been mauled to death. That is when a lull occurred amidst the action, temporarily stopping time inside of this chaotic bubble contained of madness. That is when something extremely odd occurred. Arthur Conan Doyle famously stated, "Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth." That quote perfectly sums up what happened. The thing shot its head up and began gagging. Carson made it to his feet and ran to get his bat, and then behind the couch. I simply ran behind the television, still playing The Mandalorian. Something light blue with white strings flew out of its mouth, floating down until it reached the floor. Carson wasn't looking, but I was, and I quickly identified the light blue thing as a face mask, identical to all the face masks going around, except for one small detail. In the middle of it was a medium-sized red dot, faded in. This was my face mask, the one given to me at least. See, a few days ago, before this, our landlord Tony was giving out mandatory face masks to everyone, and Carson and I were one of the last 2 to get them. You must remember that this was before Carson and I were taking COVID-19 seriously, so Carson immediately disregarded his to the trash bin. I decided to keep mine, figure I could put it on, snap a photo, and get some likes on Instagram. However, before that could happen, I accidentally spilled some fruit punch onto it, ruining it. I wasn't grieved over it. Like I stated earlier, I wasn't concerned about the virus at the time. So when I was leaving my apartment complex for my daily jog, I threw the mask out into the air behind me, not caring where it landed. I realized at that time, standing there with the lamp in my hand, it landed inside this thing's mouth and probably followed me. This thing is here because of me. Well, it depends. Our landlord Tony did give me the mask, but he's more indirectly responsible for this. The thing then suddenly seemed to calm down and stared at Carson and me. Carson began walking towards me, which didn't seem to anger the thing at all. It's been about a month since we learned that this thing was going to be sticking around for a while. The two of us learned how to tame it. It's attracted to dairy products of all things. It sleeps for only about an hour, less in certain circumstances. This is my fault. This is all my fault. Carson keeps trying to convince me that this isn't the case, but it is. My ignorance towards the coronavirus led to our current predicament. Once again, I can do nothing but urge all of you readers to stay indoors, if you can at least. Day 1. I got used to waking up at 5:30 every morning, Monday to Friday. Sleeping in till 10:30 is something I haven't done in months. Carol, on the other hand, it's like the lockdown was nothing new to her. She went about her day like there was nothing to worry about. Me, on the other hand, I was sitting around all day paranoid since I'm rarely home for an entire day, other than Saturday and Sunday, of course. I was in bed most of the day, my eyes glued to the news. Carol and I were not prepared for this, as we had no food, and Carol was supposed to go grocery shopping today, but I held her back just to be cautious, since we didn't know all the details yet. We just ordered some Cheesecake Factory and went to bed shortly after. Day 3. Well, things have begun to escalate. Carol now just sits in her bed all day, coughing and wheezing. I started to worry that she's been infected, but Carol assured me that it's probably just a cold. I believed her. Also due to Carol's cold, I went out to get groceries today. I felt extremely out of place, though, as me and maybe 2 or 3 other guys were the only ones there that weren't wearing masks and gloves. I really need to get with the times. Day 7. Carol's been getting worse. She's been feeling fatigued and her headaches look like they've been getting more extreme. She hasn't gotten up from her bed the entire day, forcing me to get all of the house chores done myself. She finally agreed to get tested tomorrow for the coronavirus. As much as it pains me to say, Carol probably has it, which means I probably have it, just my symptoms aren't showing or resonating yet. The question now is, how in the hell could it have spread to Carol? Did I give it to her? I hope not. Day 8. Carol isn't infected, thank God. She just has a cold and most likely a fever. I didn't get tested since I wasn't experiencing any symptoms, and the news keeps reminding us that there aren't enough tests for the whole country. I still find it hard to believe at how underprepared we were for this. Sure, we had no reason to believe it would spread to America, but we should still always be prepared for a massive virus. I mean, something like this was bound to happen at some point. Day 15. Alright, things have gone horribly wrong. Carol has been coughing up blood, vomiting, sleeping in longer than she should, barely moving and eating. I have no idea what's wrong with her. We both got tested again and both came back negative. I don't understand. If this isn't COVID-19, then I don't know what the hell this is. Day 21. I'm surprised I'm not dead. I went upstairs to bring up Carol some dinner, but when I walked inside, Carol was sitting on her knees, looking up at the ceiling, mouth wide open. She was also completely naked. Then after a few seconds, she started screaming, the skin on her back ripping open as non-human body parts came out. Her eyes rolled into the back of her head as she grew claws on her fingers and toes, the rest of her skin turning dark purple and dark green. Her nose and ears grew bigger as her chin shot straight down. She then jumped out of bed and stared at me, still screaming. I dropped everything and fell to the floor, watching as she then flew out of the window, sending glass shards to spread all over our driveway and car. I stayed there all night, not getting a wink of sleep. Day 29. The thing hasn't come back yet, thank God. If it did, I wouldn't know what to do. There's no way I could kill that thing. I mean, if anything, it would kill me, just like it killed Carol. I've barely eaten anything. I need to go grocery shopping again. This lockdown needs to be over soon. I can't go any longer without seeing anybody else. I feel so alone. The window is still broken because no one can come to fix it. Carol's sickness only started when I went on... God, Carol. There's stupid books you wanted. Yeah, I lied earlier. We didn't need grocery shopping. Carol just wanted a book, and I figured I'd run to 7-Eleven and get it. If only I waited. Told her she'll get it when the quarantine was over. This might have never happened. I killed Carol. I brought that thing into my house, our house. And now she's gone. Forever. Honestly, the coronavirus isn't a big deal. And as usual, the media blew it up into some sort of deadly mass virus. Like, so what? A couple thousand people died. Big whoop. People die every day. That was my mindset 2 weeks ago. Now I feel disgusted forever thinking that after getting the virus myself. Like I said, I truly believed the coronavirus wasn't a big deal, so that's why I didn't wear a mask or gloves when I went out for my nightly jog. I put in my headphones, started my music, and began my 30-minute jog. My jogging route is going down Yorker Street twice and then looping back around to my house. Yorkers is a very long road, and thankfully it's close to my house. However, behind Yorker Street is the Wincanna Forest. It's named after the town's founder, James Wincanna. The entrance to the forest is in between two of the middle houses. I've never actually been inside of the forest itself, but the town legend is that a skinwalker lives there. Skinwalkers, if you don't know, are supposed to be shape-shifting witches. I mean, it's only a legend. Like, stuff like that doesn't exist. At least it didn't before this jog. When I got to the clearing that led to inside the Wincanna Forest, I stopped for a second to catch my breath, checking the time. 9:01 p.m., my phone said. I put it away and almost went back to jogging, but didn't when a twig cracked from inside the clearing. I looked over and saw something huge stumbling towards me. I backed up in fear, and thank God I did, for this thing would have crushed me. It was around 8'1" and seemed to be a mixture of different animals. It had a wolf head with glowing yellow eyes, the skeleton-like torso of a praying mantis, and sharp, spider-like legs. It also had human arms and hands, pale and dark gray spots. It made its way over to the sidewalk I was just standing on and tried reaching for me. I backed up even more and fell into the middle of the street. The thing screeched at me before running towards me. I got up and sprinted down the way I came from, heading back to my house. I could hear the thing, its sharp spider-like legs hitting the road while it screeched the same weird noises. I finally made it to my street, seeing a couple holding hands and laughing. I waved my arms in the air like a lunatic and screamed, "Help! I need help, it's chasing me!" The two stopped laughing and began walking slower as I fell into the road, a few feet away from them. I caught my left arm open, but that wasn't really the biggest concern right now. I turned over and saw it immediately, cowering up in a tree. This tree was huge and managed to hide most of the thing, but its eyes were still visible, staring at me. I pointed at it and screamed at the two people again, but when I looked at them, I saw them walking away from me very fast. They must have thought I was some sort of crazy person. That's when I realized that when they left, I'll be all alone again. I quickly got up and jogged back to my house, passing the couple on the way as they gave me crazy looks. I slammed my door and fell, falling asleep there. I woke up late the next morning, around 11 o'clock. The entire day I was sick, coughing, sneezing. I even threw up twice. I thought I was just stressed out, but the next day I felt even worse. But on both days, all I could think about was that night where the skinwalker chased me. When I wasn't vomiting, I looked up skinwalkers, and even though I couldn't find the exact one I saw that night, the description of what they do and their general appearance was spot on to the thing I saw. The third day after that night, I was even more sick and realized I might have the coronavirus. I completely forgot about the fact that there was a virus going around. I went to get myself checked out, the first time leaving my house since that night, and, well, I came back positive. They told me to self-isolate in my house, and I did so, researching on two things only: the coronavirus and skinwalkers. My symptoms only got worse as the day went on, and it all started on that night with the skinwalker. My ignorance of the virus only got me the virus itself and a traumatic experience I'll carry to the grave. I just wish I'd taken things a little more seriously. Just a little more. I'm never jogging at night ever again, only in the morning and on a different route. That is assuming I don't die from this virus. I have practically every symptom, and I'm probably going to go to the hospital in the next few days as my body keeps getting worse. For anyone reading, please don't leave your homes if you don't have to. Trust me when I say the coronavirus is not a joke, and you really don't want it. Hey guys, Justin here from The Fearers, and I want to say thank you for listening to tonight's story. If you guys like this type of video where I write 3 horror stories and I put them all in one video, please let me know in the comments below. I'll definitely do it again. I had a lot of fun making this. Now I'm going to take this time to just announce some stuff and just a little important note. So what's coming next for my channel and just stuff in general about it. I'm going to try my best to stick to a schedule of uploading every Friday. Again, parenthesize the word try, as sometimes I probably won't, and I might not be able to upload every single Friday. But if I don't, I'll probably just upload on like a Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. So if there isn't a video on Friday, that's gonna try and be my main day. But like if there isn't, it'll probably be sometime over the weekend or maybe on Monday. Now, what else was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Right. Follow me on Instagram, please. Follow me on Twitter, please. I want followers and I need them. And if you're just finding me out, hi, welcome to the channel. I write horror stories and I read them for you guys to listen to. Subscribe, click that bell for notifications, please. And here's the important thing I wanted to say. If you couldn't tell already, the main reason all of these stories are here is because all of the main characters ignored and didn't respect the mandatory lockdown for the coronavirus, which is going around. And I'm not saying that any of this stuff is gonna happen if you disobey it and start talking to people and going out and touching stuff and other people and hanging out in groups. I'm not saying that you're gonna be invaded by monsters, but I'm saying that take what these people did in stories and apply them to real life. Don't go out. All 3 of these stories, it's all about people going out, and because of that, their lives are, basically ruined because of this. So, again, please, if you can, stay at home. It's not worth it. Just wait until the quarantine is over, and then we can hopefully go back to normal. Even though I doubt there's ever going to be it's not going to be the same normal. It's going to be a new, different normal, but still a similar normal at least. And this is a big deal because there are, believe me, still people who are not taking this seriously and believe that it's just a cough and everyone needs to go back to work and school. It's not. There are people, there's almost 200,000 people dying from this. It is a big deal. So again, if you can, stay home, stay healthy, stay safe, wash your hands, and that's basically all I gotta say. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you like this type of video where I put multiple stories in one, comment down below. And, well, I hope you all have a good night. Goodbye.